Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into one of the biggest frustrations when using AI. You ask for something and you get a pretty mediocre first draft. We're going to explore a simple technique that isn't about writing one giant perfect prompt, but about having a much smarter conversation. Let's get into it.
We've all been there, right? You write a prompt, you hit enter, and the AI gives you something that's just okay. It's functional, but it's definitely not what you had in your head. That pressure to get it exactly right on the very first try is a huge source of frustration for so many people. But what if I told you that frustration isn't really your fault? What if the problem is the whole approach itself? What happens when you stop treating the AI like a vending machine that has to give you the perfect answer, and you start treating it more like a creative partner? So here's our game plan. First, we're going to really define that first draft problem. Then, we'll talk about shifting into a more collaborative mindset. After that, I'll walk you through a super simple 4-step loop. We'll see it in action, and we'll wrap up with a few common mistakes you'll want to avoid. You know that feeling of just staring at a blank prompt box, trying to cram every single detail and instruction into it? Well, there's actually a name for that: prompt anxiety. It's a real thing, but thankfully, there is a much better and, frankly, less stressful way to work. And that better way all starts with a really simple but incredibly powerful shift in your thinking, moving from just giving a command to actually starting a conversation. The technique is called Iterative Refinement Prompting. And look, it's exactly what it sounds like. You start with a basic answer, think of it as a first draft, and then you guide the AI for a series of small, targeted improvements. It's a conversation, a loop, not a one-and-done command. So why even bother with this? Well, it's perfect for any task that normally needs a few drafts, like writing emails, reports, or even scripts. It's also amazing for just exploring ideas when you're not even sure what the final product should look like. It totally transforms that prompt anxiety into this quick, low-stress cycle of try, review, and adjust. I mean, this is how we humans naturally revise our own work, right? So let's see how this new mindset translates into an incredibly simple, repeatable process. This is the core workflow you can start using, like, right now. It's just 4 simple steps. Step 1, start simple. Give a basic prompt, and remember, the first answer is just a starting point. Step 2, review the output. What's missing? Is the tone off? Is it way too long? Step 3, give targeted feedback. And I mean specific, not make it better, but make the tone more friendly or add 3 examples. And finally, step 4 is just to repeat. You just keep this loop going until you have something that's good enough for what you need. Okay, theory is great, but let's see what this actually looks like in practice. We're going to walk through a couple of quick examples to make this totally concrete. Let's take a super common task, like writing an introduction for a blog post or maybe an essay, and see how this method can take something generic and turn it into something polished and engaging. So, we start simple. Step 1. Our prompt is just write an introduction for a blog post about beginner prompt engineering. And the result is fine. You know, it's a perfectly functional paragraph, but it's pretty generic, not very exciting. That's our first draft. Now for step 3, the feedback. We don't delete it and start over. We just reply with a specific instruction. Make this more engaging for beginners and add 1 rhetorical question at the start. And just like that, the AI adds a hook and starts speaking way more directly to our audience. Much, much better. But hey, we can still do better. Let's run the loop one more time. Our next bit of feedback is, now cut it down to about 120 words and remove any repeated ideas. This is where the magic really happens. The language gets tighter, more concise, more impactful. In just 2 simple follow-ups, we went from totally generic to pretty darn polished. And listen, this is not just for formal writing. You can use this exact same process for something fun, like co-writing a story. Imagine starting with a simple idea, a cat who becomes a spaceship pilot, and then refining it together. You could ask for funnier dialogue, a different ending, or give the cat a really clumsy personality. It becomes a real creative partnership. Now, to make sure this technique works for you every single time, there are a few common pitfalls, a few traps you'll want to avoid. First, and this is the biggest one, don't delete the chat and start over. The AI needs that context from the conversation. Just stay in the same thread and give feedback like you would to a helpful coworker. Second, avoid vague feedback like, make it better. Be concrete. Ask for a friendlier tone, 3 bullet points, a shorter length. Also, try to adjust just 1 or 2 things at a time so you can really see what's working. And finally, know when to stop. Decide what good enough looks like for your task and then just move on. Perfection can be the enemy of getting things done.
So really, the most crucial point is this. When you use this technique, you are fundamentally changing your relationship with the AI. It stops being some kind of vending machine for answers and becomes a genuine revision partner that helps you shape and polish your ideas. You know, the best way to learn this is just to do it. So here's a mini challenge for you. Find an email you've already written, copy it into the AI, and ask it to improve the tone and clarity. But don't do it in one shot. Use 2 or 3 small iterative steps. See for yourself how quickly you can refine it.
And that's iterative refinement, a simple idea with a huge impact. Next time, we're going to build on this concept and explore prompt chaining, which is a technique for breaking down really big tasks into a powerful workflow. I'll see you then.